Fire is a miraculous skill. It comes to life. It provides you the ability to cook your food. It gives you light at night. It keeps you warm. It boils your water. And in the middle of the night, someplace out in the bush, just the sound of a crackling fire is nice company.
Comfort.
You bet. It's like a hug.
Fire can be created through many different methods. One is air.
What I'm holding in my hand is known as a fire piston. So this is the same concept as the diesel engine. This is just simply a bored hole with an air chamber inside, nothing more. So as I place my plunger here, I'm going to put this on my thigh. So now I would simply, with my tinder bundle, I would take this, my knife, my coal, and I would simply pry this out and put that into my tinder bundle and blow that into flame.
Another is ice.
The fire from ice is forming that black ice into a lens.
And the method used to create fire we're most familiar with is friction.
And you've seen this demonstrated quite a bit, the old flint and steel idea. Now the trick behind these strikers is not fast and light. You get a very short spark. The trick is actually slow and hard, so I'm actually applying a bit more pressure. Notice I'm using my body as support, and I'm going to go a little bit slower and harder with it, and you'll see the strike much greater in its result. And so I want to send that into my tinder bundle and again blow that at the flame and stick it in my fire structure.
It seems so readily available in our day-to-day survival, but in those situations in which we are left without a lighter or matches or electricity, we are called to respond and act to ensure we have the tools required for our own safety and survival.
We're going to use the fire by friction known as the bow drill.
First, we had to make a tinder bundle, and we did this using the same process we used to gather our raw materials for our cordage.
Even when it's wet out, the bark acts as a rain jacket, so I can take a log and some of this down logs here and whack it against it, start splitting the bark, and I can start peeling it, and for the most part that'll be dry underneath.
It provides us with materials to fuel our conflagration.
Dry leaves, that could also act as tinder. Correct?
Absolutely. Leaves are nice. They'll throw a lot of smoke for signals, if that's important for you. I'm basically going to just take this and crush it up as best as I can. I keep this process up until I have what's known as a little tinder bundle. It looks like in the shape of a small bird's nest.
Next, to assemble our fire structure. We started by digging a pit.
We're simply getting below the grade, therefore we're kind of lessening the wind that's coming in here.
And collecting our fuel.
So I'm going to actually use pencil lead thickness first and make a tiny little teepee-like structure. I'm going to keep a doorway in the middle here.
Okay.
So this is a lot. This is actually going to cast a flame to about here before it burns down. So this fuel here and sticks, we're actually pretty good. We're good to go.
Our next step was to create a bow drill, a proven and useful tool in fire creation which would enable us to create fire using three basic ingredients: friction, fuel, and oxygen.
You know, there are four things that we really think about when we're making a bow drill kit, or any fire for that matter. One, we give thanks. We give a little reverence back to the ancestors for keeping these skills alive. Step two is carving the pieces correctly. Did I get the right wood? Step three, how's my technique? Am I doing my technique proper? And step four, we give thanks because it's such a cool skill.
The friction created generates heat. The heat eventually produces an ember.
Already smoke, very, very quick. Now the wind is a factor here in the sake of trying to prevent that little dust that we're starting to build up in the notch from blowing away.
The ember is tiny, smaller than the head of a cigarette, and fragile.
This coal will burn for at least 3 to 5 minutes by itself. I don't have to rush. We've got a coal.
Once the ember is formed, it is carefully placed into our tinder bundle.
I don't want to breathe over it and blow into it. I don't want to use my palms either. I want to use my fingertips and allow the air to move through it.
It was Robert Frost who said, "Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. The north wind was blowing, the temperature was dropping, and Shane and I decided we were both definitely in favor of fire.
We've solved a lot of our problems by creating a fire here.
It can be used to send smoke signals, deter predators from approaching your encampment, and is also one of the best ways to purify water to make it potable.
Cooks your food, keeps us company.
Keeps it warm.
Keeps us warm. It's an amazing friend to have out there in the bush. Once you begin that flame, don't walk away. Thanks, Fire, for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Fire.